So, excited to be here. I was able to get, Mike loaned me his Thermomix for the week before I headed out to Ireland, and so I was able to actually make 3 recipes. So that has been my only introduction to the product, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I was really surprised when I was researching, doing this talk with you, how long the Thermomix had been around and on the market. So do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. Actually, when I was 5 years old, I didn't have a clue that Thermomix was existing. That was 1970. Then I joined the company in 1996, and I was working 2 years for a vacuum cleaner. And it's called from the company Vorwerk. And then suddenly they said we should do some development with the Thermomix, which was already existing for 28 years. And I didn't have a clue what my colleagues were doing 2 doors next to us. So we started this development, and it was a design to cost project. So we had to reduce parts. And we did it in a way that we eliminated some parts which made kilos to our advisors, which reduced the weight that they can carry it. We reduced also a ventilator which makes noise because the motor was not efficient enough, so that at the end there was a product the direct sales didn't want. We did it, and it was better than feared. So we were aiming at this time about 260,000 appliances a year, and that was in 2004. And over 10 years of our production, we came at the end to closely 1 million a year. In between, we had the chance to sell this product in a much more better and efficient way than we did it before, because we are a direct selling company. I think that is something which is differentiating us from you guys, because there are so many good products out of the markets, and they are on the shelf. They are observed for 3 minutes maybe, and we have the chance, if you are willing to let us in, so that would be maybe the case in the future in your home, that we are talking 1.5 hours about our product, and then normally on every party, 1 customer in average is buying this product.
Okay, so you're doing direct sales. For those of you that have not, how many people have used a Thermomix? Okay, so.
A lot of potential.
It's a lot of potential direct sellers, yes. For those of you that haven't, it is an amazing machine because it chops, it grinds, it blends, it cooks. Everything, it steams. It really, the recipes flow from beginning to end. And so after you had all of these, it was what, 2014 that you started to put the integrated panel into it with the recipes?
I totally disagree.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a boring machine. Actually, It's a mixer where only a heating plate is integrated, nothing more, you know. And this invention was coming in 1970 because there was a French person who said, I have to make baby food. I have to make soups, and I have to mix it because the babies don't have teeth at this age, and I want to have it hot. And therefore they brought it together, and then this brilliant name was existing, Thermomix, you know. And they did it, and they were selling it quite successful or unsuccessful, however you perceive it, with 100,000 sales a year. But we have this kind of customers who would like to have the product, and we give them the chance to be advisors. And these people are really people who would like to have the product, and they get now the chance to reduce the price for them by talking about it. And this kind of people are our evangelists, so they making the story really beautiful.
Right.
Because engineers are talking about rotations, about speeds, about the size and the speed of Bluetooth. And these advisors are talking about the food you can get, you have to eat at the end, right. Where we think sometimes it has somehow a little bit of success guarantee. If I do it, not very well known in cooking, or you would do it, You did it only 3 times with
I
your
only,
family.
I only did, yeah, but each one was very. I did your broccoli salad that you like so much, and that was really amazing. But the thing that I enjoyed about it was the digital panel on the front with the recipes that come up step by step. And the other thing that I didn't originally even realize when I took it out of the box was that it would weigh everything. So I like a cook, went through and I looked at the recipe in its entirety, and then I got out my ingredients, and then I started to pre-measure. And then I started to put things in the machine, and I was like, oh, it's going to weigh everything for me. And so that took that whole extra step away, which was really, really nice. And so it guided me through. Now, that's something new that my blender of old, of course, did not do or anything like that. But you now have not just the recipes built into it, but you have a cook key. So COOK and then KEY. And that is an online platform with even more recipes. I wasn't able to use that. Can you describe that for me?
Yeah, so actually this cooking with the Thermomix was so romantic than using an Excel sheet, because you have to make speed, temperature and time. And if you don't follow this instruction, you don't have the success guarantee. And this is taking a little bit away the emotional moment of cooking, because we also close the lid that you are not able to see what is inside. Of course, you smell it, and at the end you eat it, so that makes it more emotional. But this kind of working with the Thermomix compared to the life you had before, when you were able to cook on your own, to stir it on your own, is something which made it difficult for the customer in the first moment to jump into this cook mixer experience. And we were looking, except of design to cost, design to customer. Some letters are the same, but there is maybe much more into it. And then we were seeing that this kind of cookbook, then setting the time, is something what is not really in the need of the customer. And we were doing this kind of seamless fusion of recipes, call it software, and hardware, the mixer inside the appliance. And it took ladies and experts in cooking to bring it in such an emotional way to the appliance that also our customer liked to use it. Because if I would have done it, it would be much more rational and the people would not have liked to do it. And I think that is quite nice, this kind of thing what we are doing with our advisors, that they see what the customer really likes and not. And this kind of connection directly to the customer helped us to develop something where, let me say, 10 years ago, nobody really was believing in it. Because we are a hardware manufacturer, and it took us some time to believe that an old Italian lady wants to use a touch screen, wants to use an iPad, and is doing it at the end. And the truth later, what we are seeing now, shows us they want to do it. They want to have the easy way.
And as a cook who loves to cook, I was surprised. I did the risotto, made that, and you know, risotto normally for me is standing at the stove and stirring the whole entire time and slowly adding the stock. So I wasn't expecting the result I got in the short amount of time that I got, but it was absolutely delicious. And it messed with my head as a food scientist in that it took half the time. And so I was really surprised by that, but the results were really nice. But when you go out to the Cook Key extra recipe sites and the online platform, are you now starting to get feedback similar to like what All Recipes or Epicurious with what we were talking about earlier today, people being able to comment and personalize the recipes?
Yeah, of course. We get a lot of feedback because actually we have over 1 million Thermomixes with a cookie connected to this platform. And we are even having now more than 600,000 people paying for the content each month €3. Okay.
Okay, so it's a
So
subscription.
they give us the feedback that they want it or they don't want it, and exactly all the 400,000 we didn't brought in, we asked them what could be improved. And today it was also said, is a personalized recipe important? And like our demand manager said, content is king and relevant content is King Kong. So, and that I think it's very important that you find your not meat recipes if you're a vegetarian. And also that you maybe take the extra portion salt into that because you like it. Mm-hmm. This is something we want to work on because there's also this kind of success guarantee what we want to give. Therefore, we made this recipe Excel sheet driven thing. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, we want to give the freedom, but of course, if I take 3 times the salt in it and I make it to a recipe and I give it to my friends, they say, the Thermomix is not very tasty, you know? Right. That is the stuff we have to sort out, and of course we will do. And also to the other people who want to start an eco platform, it takes really a long time to make it working, and that it's in many countries working, and that the cashier for all the credit card is integrated and so on. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the other thing. So I was using the machine and I was thinking about the differences in ingredients. As far as I bought a red curry paste. I made the quick Thai chili curry, I think, something that I can't even remember the exact name. But I was worried that the curry paste that I was buying in America, whether or not the Thermomix had been designed for some specific product here in Europe. And so you have to take all of that into account as you develop.
Yeah, when we developed the former model, we made a butterfly which can make the cream very fluffy. Uh-huh. In Italy, they said nobody wants to have this cream on the cake. I'm not interested in that at all. So therefore, they said, but we can use that to steer the potatoes to potato mush. Because it was too strong, it destroyed our butterfly, and we have to re-engineer the butterfly. So, of course, every country has its own recipes. For example, when we make the soya bean milk in Taiwan, they cook the beans, and then afterwards they do 2 minutes of turbo to smash the beans, not to get the starch before, so that it's not tasting so good. Okay, mm-hmm. That is something where the appliance is totally used in a different way than in Italy, where they do all the Parmesan cheese. You know, mm-hmm. That is really a problem for the knives, and also the food. For example, in Mexican, when we have the knife rotating in the left mode, the knife is very not very sharp.
Dull, yeah.
But it makes the meat in a way that the Mexican says exactly that is the meat I want to have to put it in my tacos or whatever they do, right. Which is not at all necessary for Germany. Mm. They love to make the dough, and all this kind of stuff we experienced over the time. So it was also not easy to position this one product in every country for the same.
Yeah, no, I can clearly see that. Can we open it up? Does anybody have any questions as we move along? Because I'm dying to throw this thing as well.
I would like to throw this one, exactly.
You probably have a better arm than I do. Excellent.
Thanks. I saw that you did a test project with Rewe in Germany. I just wondered how that went and if you continue it. It's a grocery store and they do
yes.
home delivery as well in Germany.
Yeah, thank you. So, of course, we found out that making a kitchen appliance which is on the shelf is one thing because it helps me to cook faster, to deliberate my time. But also it was mentioned today that what I'm cooking today, what do I want to eat today, how do I get the ingredients to my home is even more essential, because if I don't have the food to bring it home, it doesn't work out. So we started with Rewe, it's a German company, to have a delivery project. So we aligned our databases and so on. It was not even possible to have it in every city in Germany because not every Rewe supermarket wanted to participate. And of course, we will do this further on. I think also we have to give the chance to other supermarkets to do the same, because maybe you have your favorite supermarket, which is not Rewe, which is something else, and we have to integrate this kind of delivery too.
Actually, I have a second question as well, because you've invested in HelloFresh before, and I think recently sold the shares again, which, I mean, I'm not a financial person, but what's the reason?
I'm not either. I'm only the product manager of Thermomix. So Vorwerk is a little bit bigger, and of course there are joint ventures, and there's the right moment to buy and the right moment to sell. But of course, HelloFresh is something which is also bringing in recipes to the home. It's not only the ingredients, it was pre-packed recipes which were delivered also to my home, you know, and we did it also, but I came home late, then of course I had still the ingredients at my home, and the next day the delivery of the next 3 dishes came, but I didn't finish up the first one, and so on. So I think it's not as easy what we think, that delivery at the right moment is something which can be done. And we started that project with Rewe, for example, also in Germany, because our market penetration is there very high. If you have only 200 or 300 appliances, to think about the delivery system, which is convenient for every customer, when they have to choose between 10 recipes, it's not so easy.
That reminds me of that last talk, the startup showcase, Meal Hero. Was it Meal Hero? Yeah, with the frozen product coming prepackaged and weighed. That seems like a way around some of those delivery issues. I think Mike's trying to steal the mic. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask a question. I had a question for Stefan.
Yeah.
I know you guys did a trial with Williams-Sonoma, or you were at some select Williams-Sonomas in North America, and your entry into the U.S. has always been something I've watched closely, because you have that direct sales model where you have ambassadors in Europe, and I've always wondered how that would transfer into the U.S. market. You guys have made a couple attempts to get in the U.S. market. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about that trial, if at all? And then also, do you think that direct sales model will work transferring from Europe to the U.S.?
I'm not so deep in that, how it went and how it will go in the future, but I can tell you, Thermomix, this cook mixer, is something which has to be explained in a certain way to feel really the advantage or the disadvantages. Of course, you can buy also other cook mixers on the shelves, and it's working also very well. But I think to see the real benefits, it has to be explained. And if you go now in new markets where this name Vorwerk is not known at all, and they also cannot spell it, it's very difficult to put it only in a retail shop and that everybody thinks, oh, that's a good price, 1,300 euro, I think I will buy 1 or 2 of them. If that would be so easy, we would do that, of course. Of course, we have the advantage that we had a wonderful lady coming from Poland, who was selling in Australia Thermomixes, which has a similar language to the United States, so that because of their community activities, some people know already about what Thermomix is. But to pay 1,300 euro or 1,500, $600, it's something different.
Whee! Here it comes.
Nice try. I have a question about your recipe platform. Assuming that a family or somebody is just cooking only with the Thermomix, then you should have a pretty good idea what he is or she is consuming, also concerning calories and ingredients and nutritional values. So do you plan to introduce a health recommendation-based or health-based, recommendation system for your products? If you say your consumers or your clients have a really high binding capacity to the Thermomix?
You're totally right. There was a time we were selling cookbooks and we didn't know what the people were cooking. Now we know what the people are cooking and we assume that they are also eating it up. So therefore I think we are much more closer to the customer. And of course, we also want to use this data to make a recommendation system in the near future. I only learned one very nice sentence, never mistake a clear view for a short distance. And Vorwerk is not a Silicon Valley rapid moving company, it's a Wupper Valley, it's a small town in Germany moving company, which were, let me say, very successful with this one appliance, Thermomix. And of course, now is the moment also for us to move in that direction, which we, let me say, started 4 years ago, because Thermomix is only one part of the kitchen. There's so much more. If we combine that, we could do something very beautiful. And this health recommendation, of course, will be a part of it. Maybe we make also a partnership agency that we say, you and you are cooking the same, maybe you could also live together, you know, whatever comes up.
So a dating service. That's actually one of my ideas. So do you think that eventually the Thermomix might be platformed with other smart appliances in the kitchen?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. Leading question. So in the short amount of time we have left.
Maybe there is something, when we speak about open, you know, that was also a question today, how open we are.
Right.
Are we open close or are we closed open? So I think there will be always a secret I tell only my wife, you know? And there will be some secrets I even would tell you, you know? And there are some things I will not tell anybody. And that is exactly the thing what we have to figure out, because there is also a trust of our customers that they know whatever I give in data to Vorwerk, I can rely that I not later get a Parship adventure. And this is also something which we have to take care of, because we have the responsibility. At the moment we get the data from them, I think we have an opt-in of 70%, and they don't get really a big benefit from us. You know, so we want to give it to them in the near future, but they are trusting us somehow. So now to have a combination with other companies, to be on the same platform, maybe to be able to speak Français, English, German, and Dutch is also something, because I don't know what in 5 years will be the international language of smart kitchens.
That's an excellent point. And I think that's why this is such a good, interesting case study as the topic was
And we can
labeled.
initiate maybe the drop of smart kitchen, huh?
Oh, okay. That'll work. Any more? We've got time for one more question, if the cube is still out. Okay.
Or we would have more free time.
Yeah, to drink that Guinness we haven't gotten to yet. Yes, Mike.
Can you talk and give us an update on the application, the adoption of your modern, your recipe book?
Okay.
How many of those were adopted?
Yeah, thank you. Because we are in a direct selling business, 1.5 hours, you have the pleasure with 4 friends to see what we are presenting you. Because of that, you have 5 senses. You can look at it, you can listen to it, how loud it is to grind peanuts, you know, it's tremendous loud, to smell the onions, to taste how hot the bowl can be, also to, I don't know what was then left over, but you can see that. By this way, we can also tell the people, you can even download the recipe, what you would like to cook on this appliance. And the people are buying this kind of version, the Thermomix, established with a cookie. You could have it also without the connection to the internet, but this is only chosen by 10% at the moment. So if we sell a device, it's a connected device. And 80% of them making also the connectivity working, and so on. The cookie appeared only 2 years after we launched the TM5. So there are still 2 million customers out working with the Thermomix, quite successful, but having not the chance to have the cookie. And for them, they say, I cook now already 3-4 years with the cooking. It worked, with the Thermomix.
yeah.
It worked out. I even don't need a cookie. So there is no rush that everybody says, I bought the Thermomix, now I have to get the cookie.
Yeah.
We were even surprised by this phenomenon because 80% or 90% of our new customers want to have the connection, and only 10% out of our former customers say, that's enough for me.
Good. All right. Well, thank you for your time. That was a great case study. Thank you.